got some stories from a subreddit called Am I the Asshole? Now, in case you don't know, and I'll read this for you, the Am I the Asshole community describes itself as a catharsis for the frustrated moral philosopher in all of us, and a place to finally find out if you were wrong in an argument that's been bothering you. Tell us about any non-violent conflict you've experienced. Give us both sides of the story, and find out if you're right, or if you're the asshole. Now, I would like in the comments for you to tell me what you think the answer is, because I'm going to go through the stories, and I'm going to kind of tell my own opinion, and if you have one too, awesome. But let's get into the stories. So, story number 1. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason nobody will hire her for a job, and not sexism? This story concerns my sister, Lily, who is graduating soon. Our parents taught us the importance of personal hygiene and keeping yourself presentable, but I guess Lily fell off the wagon while dorming in college because it feels like she dropped everything to do with personal hygiene since moving back home. It's easier to explain with a list of things she isn't taking care of. Hair, very oily and greasy, and always tangled from lack of wash and brushing. Skin, also very oily and greasy from no washing. Nails, never trimmed, so they're long and yellow from grime. Clothes. Her clothes themselves are nice, but she leaves them sloppy and wrinkled. Body. Showers once a week, tops. I'm not sensitive to smell, but my sister reeks and honestly makes me gag sometimes. Lily is upset because she says that she can't get an in-person job in her field and wants to give up. Our parents have tried telling her that presentability and hygiene isn't as important as credentials when getting jobs, but my sister won't listen. Lily has a rocky relationship with our family, so she takes it as a personal attack rather than trying to help. Lily is now blaming sexism and cis men are all just intimidated by a competent woman, and that's the sole reason why she hasn't gotten a job. If she wants to lie to herself, it's her life, whatever. What I can't stand is her trying to make it my problem and expect validation from me. Lily just did a bunch of interviews, but all went cold after, and none panned out into jobs. She was venting to me last week about how companies in this field are all boys' clubs, and quick to shoot down a woman they know is intellectually above them. I was basically just like, good for you. Can I finish my session in peace now? Lily got defensive, and she said she's just warning me. Then doubled down, saying that most men are selfish and I should save myself the headache now. She was saying this with my male friends on the voice call. I had enough and told Lily that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason no job will hire her, so stop blaming others and think for 2 seconds. If you were a company owner who needs to impress investors to keep your family afloat, would you want to be represented by someone who looks and smells like a homeless person, or someone who is presentable and takes care of themselves? We got into an argument, and Lily is now either giving me one-word answers or not saying anything to me at all. I'll be honest that we argue a lot, but Lily normally would have gotten over it by now. Did I do the right thing giving Lily a dose of reality, or did I fuck up here? So I'm not sure if I would call OP an asshole per se, but you have to factor in one of the reasons why somebody might not be taking care of themselves can be due to like severe depression. There were times in my life where I was so depressed that I didn't get out of bed, and there was actually one time, this is when I was probably 21 or so, where like I didn't even realize it, and I had stopped showering and like brushing my teeth, and I just was a mess. Like it was a complete mess. And the thing is, if you get depressed, like extremely depressed, you just stop taking care of yourself sometimes. You stop caring about anything, you just want to sleep all day. Now, I don't know if this is Lily's problem as well, but one has to wonder if someone's behaving in such a weird manner in terms of this, like they're neglecting personal hygiene and all of that, or their teeth are like rotting out of their mouth. A lot of people will be quick to like judge and say, oh, that person's just lazy, but I don't think that's the case. A lot of the times people can like mask their mental stuff and all of that, depression especially, but if you see something like that, that's a sign, to me at least, that there's something deeper going on there, and that you probably need to be a little bit more compassionate to your family. I understand nobody wants to hear stuff like what she was saying, and it is, offensive and just kind of like wrong, but you have to kind of be a little bit more compassionate, because I think that from what OP was describing, OP's sister Lily is probably depressed. And I mean, think about it. It's really stressful to go to university. I haven't been able to, but to be near the end of university, it would it would take a toll on a person. And if this person's already really insular and just depressed, and now they're getting all these like negative responses, it probably take a toll on their self-esteem. So I don't think that the OP was an asshole here. I just think that they maybe could have worded it in a more compassionate way. You know what I mean? But overall, no, OP isn't an asshole or a bad person here. And I do hope that Lily was able to get help from her problems. Story number 2. Am I the asshole for making my sister's gender reveal cake gray because she wouldn't tell me the gender? I'm a 23-year-old male who bakes as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. As in, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers on the side, kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make the cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the information so I could prepare the inside, classic pink or blue filling. She tells me, oh, no, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for the reveal, and we'll all find out together. I was like, wait, so you want a gender reveal cake with no gender revealed? She says that she'll have someone email me the information later. That email never came. So the deadline comes, and I still have no gender. I decide to just make the cake. It's gray outside and gray inside. It just has full-on cement vibes. I even added little fondant clouds for effect. It still tasted great, but visually, grim as hell. The reveal day comes. They cut into it, and my sister looks pissed. Her husband is confused, and people start murmuring in the crowd. My sister pulls me aside and is like, why would you make it gray? That's so passive-aggressive. Calmly, I reminded her that nobody told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with. I told her that I wasn't about to guess or go full improv on someone's baby cake. Now my mom is telling me that I embarrassed her in front of the family and that I should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Summon the gender through vibes. So, am I the asshole for making the most neutral gender reveal cake in history? I gotta say, OP is definitely not the asshole here. What exactly was he supposed to do? They didn't give him the actual gender of the baby, and they themselves didn't even know. It just seems kind of weird. I mean, I can understand why maybe they wouldn't want gray. Like, I might have gone with, like, indigo or something, which is one of my favorite colors, indigo. Because indigo is kind of like, sort of between blue and pink. And I think it's just a nice color. Maybe making it look like cement wasn't the best idea, but still, this guy was not an asshole and he spent free time to make this cake, right? Yeah, he got paid, I presume, I think so, but either way, it's a cake. Tastes good. I don't know if I personally would have gone for cement gray, but I mean, what can you do? He just did the best with what he had, so I would say not an asshole. Story number 3. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's in the same league as the men that she calls ugly? My friend, 19F, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type that always says she wants a boyfriend or wants to do couple things and feels lonely single, that kind of thing. She's also, in my opinion at least, very normal and average looks-wise. Not ugly, not super hot, just alright. Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men there are ugly, short, etc., and that she doesn't match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly, and so she showed me her likes. And it mostly showed people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. I told her that these guys were all in her league, and she should give some of them a chance, since she always complains about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she's in the same league as them, and said that she's much more attractive than they are. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she does find attractive, so she's not in their league. She said I was an asshole. Am I? I have to again say OB is not an asshole here. One thing that I've noticed when it comes to dating, and you'll see this a lot in like areas of the internet where it's talking about like looks maxing and stuff like that. People can call it incel or stuff like that, but I don't know if I'd say it's that. People have very unrealistic expectations when it comes to dating. I'm sorry to say it, but like if you're an average Joe, you're not going to date like a K-pop idol or like a supermodel, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. The way that like looks are seen when you look at like the quote-unquote top echelon or whatever of like people's physical appearance, it's unrealistic to assume that people, one, look that good without makeup, and two, that someone looking that good is that common. Do you know what I mean? You see all these celebrities and stuff on TV, and like, you know, if, like I said, K-pop, you listen to K-pop, you see like very attractive women and men, right? People like that have to like get surgeries and stuff, all of this to attain that look. Your average day-to-day person just looks like a normal person. And I know everyone wants to think that they're like this 10 out of 10, but like, let's be real. Most people on Earth are like 5 out of 10. Like if you want to go on like a looks rating thing. And people have to stop thinking that, oh, well, if I date someone who looks normal, then I'm settling. That's not true. Someone can look normal, which is not a bad thing at all, by the way. They can look normal. You can date them and have a great life. You don't have to sit there and strive for someone who is like impossible to get to because, what, you're not a billionaire, right? If you're a normal looking person, what would you have to offer someone who considers themselves, by the way, most likely above other people? You want to find someone who will love you for you, who will see you as a fully fledged person and not just want you for your looks. And when you're in a situation like her where she's like, oh, well, I only want to date these guys who are, let's be honest, they're probably like quote-unquote like models or whatever, you're setting yourself up for disappointment when you do that. You want to find someone who is within your, quote-unquote league. And I don't even know if I'd say the friend is an asshole per se. It's just that the friend is very unrealistic about their dating expectations. Does this person give 110% into their looks and everything? Are they out there working out every day? Are they basically, what would you say, trying everything in their power to be the top, 1% of people in terms of looks? Probably not. They're probably just a normal person. So why should they then expect people who they do want to date, who look like models, to want to date them? Do you get what I mean? I would argue that the person who quote-unquote looks like a model or whatever probably puts in more effort than the person who wants to date people, but then won't date people who are in their league. I'm sorry, I'm digressing, but it's just something I've noticed that I find really weird. I don't know. But no, I wouldn't say that OB is an asshole here either. Story 4. Am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I'm a high schooler who works a weekend job at a coffee shop. I have coworkers who work on weekends as well, and they are James, who is the owner's son. He goes to my school and he's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing, and he's a friendly guy. And Danielle, who's a college student that sometimes works weekends too. So, sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown-ass man taking out your anger on high school and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper tantrum about how we don't make coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, "OB, this is unacceptable. You're fired." I started acting real sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please." And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, "It isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it." And James was like, "No, we pride ourselves on the best customer service." Of course, after all that drama, I still have my job. We were just acting, and we've done it a couple times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and quote-unquote fire us. And almost every time, the person who had come in angry will apologize and say they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyways, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke? I wouldn't say so. I've worked in retail and restaurants, and sometimes customers are just really rude for no reason at all. I don't know if it's they're having a bad day or they think that they can demean people just because they see them as like above them. You know, like, "Oh, I work in an office, so I'm better than this fast food worker," or something. But there is a real problem with people being rude to those who work in service jobs. So I think that no, the joke isn't really hurting anybody, and maybe it'll make people think twice before they're being an asshole to these workers who are just trying to make money, right? So, nah, OP isn't the asshole. Story 5. Am I the asshole for telling my mom it wasn't cute or funny to dress me up as a hot dog instead of a princess? So there's this new Target commercial going around where a little girl dresses as a hot dog, and it came on while my family was watching a scary movie. I, 20F, am home from college for the weekend and brought my boyfriend, and my mother, 57F, decided it would be hilarious to mention that she'd made me a hot dog costume as a kid, except the way she told the story, it was at my request. She said that all the girls wanted to be Disney princesses, but I had asked to be a hot dog. and so she'd gone out of her way to make me that costume. This isn't what happened, and I said as much. What actually happened is that I wanted to be Snow White, and I told everyone, including the teachers, that I was going to be Snow White for Halloween. I was obsessed with that movie as a kid, to the point where I would actually get invested in doing chores because I was cleaning up just like Snow White. My dad and I would watch that movie all the time, and I was very excited to be Snow White for Halloween, especially because my ballet studio was doing a special princess dance for Halloween. And we'd all signed up for special princess slots, and I'd shown up early with my dad the week before so that I could get to be Snow White. My mother decided that she wanted to be quirky and that Snow White was a bad role model after I got in trouble for trying to cook dinner for my family. I was about 8, and I tried to make hot dogs like how Snow White made food for the dwarves in the movie, and I wound up making a mess. My mom surprised me on the day of with this crappy hot dog suit and told me if I didn't wear it, she'd never let me watch Snow White again. She took a million pictures. The other girls teased me for months, and it was one of the most humiliating moments of my childhood. I told the real story and mentioned that I got through that day by pretending that she was the evil queen making me dress in rags, but the rags happened to be a garbage meat costume. She got really quiet after that, and after we left, my brother says she was crying and looking at the pictures from that Halloween. I didn't mean to make my mom cry, but it's a shitty memory for me, and it felt like she was trying to humiliate me all over again in front of my boyfriend. Am I the asshole? I don't know. I don't think so. I initially felt like the mom was an asshole for it, but I feel bad knowing that the mom started crying. I think the mom was just trying to be funny back when the OP was a little kid, and I don't think the mom meant anything by it, you know? Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was kind of wrong to say, oh, if you don't dress up like a hot dog, you're never going to watch Snow White again, because that movie was important to OP back then. But I don't think that, you know, the mom meant anything by it that truly hurt her. I don't think that OP is an asshole in this situation, but I feel like sometimes, you know, when you get older, your parents might try to goof around with you a bit, and maybe it's like just a little bit of like ribbing or poking fun. I don't think that the mom meant any problem by it or meant to be rude or whatever. It was just a way to kind of be silly, you know? Like, when I was a kid, I dressed up as the green M&M and also McDonald's French fries, so I mean, like, I even dressed up as Dracula once, and like had crappy fake blood and stuff, those blood capsules. I mean, it was just kind of like supposed to be a cute story. So no, I don't think OP was an asshole, but I don't think the mom meant anything negative by it either. Keep in mind, parents aren't around forever, so try to enjoy the time you get with them while you can, if you can, you know what I mean? But that's all for this one. I have a bunch of stories that I liked that I have saved, and I'm going to be making some more, but in the meantime, I want you to have a good day, night, or anything in between, and I want you to have a wonderful sleep. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, and I'll see you